Okay, so hello, dear Dr. Uliana, Dr. Liuda, how are you, first of all?
Very well, thank you very much.
Everything is okay, yes, Dr. Uliana? Okay, so thank you, both of you, that you found time to speak with me. For our listeners, our guest today, Dr. Liuda, medical doctor, IVF specialist, gynecologist from Ireland, and Dr. Uliana, also medical doctor, IVF specialist, and medical director at Ovogene Bank. So I'm very glad to see you and looking forward to start our conversation. First of all, Dr. Uliana, IFG had mostly programs in Ukraine, and during the situation in Ukraine, now IFG have programs in other countries. Can you tell a little bit more how things going now?
Yeah, thank you, Khrystyna, for your kind introduction, and it's great to be here. And Liuda, I'm so happy to hear you. Finally, we found a chance to talk together. Unfortunately, because of the situation in Ukraine, and you all know that the country is in the status of the war now, and it's really dangerous to visit for international patients. And for many of them, it's really a critical situation because many patients have been starting their treatment in Ukraine prior to the fact that the war started, and they left their biological materials in there. That's why we took a decision, and that was our responsibility to take care about their materials, and we moved those materials into the safer place, into Slovakian licensed fertility clinic, which is located in Bratislava. And this is where all our storages are currently located, and where we also have a chance to be connected with their treatments and with the procedures being done in that clinic. And this is the location where our patients, our international patients, are able to continue their treatment.
Only in Bratislava?
Yeah, we also are practicing in Albania. For Albania, this is the reason that some treatments which are not legal in or regulated in the European Union, but they were able to be performed, we were able to perform them in Ukraine, we can continue only like right now in Albania. So we are mostly practicing in two locations. This is Bratislava, Slovakia, and at Tirana, Albania.
So it's great to know that patients have places where they can go. Bratislava and Tirana are very beautiful places. So Dr. Liuda, now I have some questions to you. You are working with IFG agency for a long time, and just tell us a few words about how long you're working and what experience you have with us.
Well, I kind of worked with Dr. Uliana for more than 10 years, even when she was working in Intersono, and we have a very good working relationship, and I kind of trust her judgment and call. But since she moved to the new company and established the Ovogene Bank, it was even better because our patients had the option to use not just the one-to-one donation, but also choose a donor eggs from a bank that is quite substantial in size and has a variety of donors and a good selection. So I'd say with egg donation, we are working probably about 2 years now in the new company, and our patients go not just for the egg donations, they do tend to go for the normal IVF cycle as well. And quite often we do send patients for the surrogacy as well, because that's one of the difficult treatments for the patients, quite unregulated and emotionally difficult for the patients to go through. So we have few patients to attend you as well.
Okay, this is great. I also remember that we had one case. It was just when war started in Ukraine, and thank you for your boss for our teamwork. Case was successful. We have pregnancy, and Dr. Liuda, I know that we have many successful programs. Maybe your patients, I believe, they come to you after successful results. What feedback they have? Are they happy with us? Are they happy to travel abroad for programs?
It's not just they travel to you. We tend to work together in a sort of in conjunction with you, because we monitor a lot of patients during the cycle here. We provide a blood and scan for the patients, and also after transfer, we monitor their progress, their progesterone. We perform lots of immunology support. So the feedback we get pretty much from every patient, just because it's important to us, as we are the one who recommend the clinics and the companies for the treatment, but also if something to be improved, or if there's issues with communications, we can feedback to you and you can improve it. But so far, I can tell one thing, that communication is absolutely amazing, and thanks to you, Khrystyna, because your name comes up quite often in all the conversations. Well, the main feedback we get from the patient is that it's very, very important for them to make sure that if they text you or contact you, they will get an answer quickly, because they're very emotional. They are taking lots of medications, and every little gap in information, if they can't get an answer for even sometimes a day, they panic. Thankfully, we kind of sometimes cover some of the gaps here. But so far, we've never had a single patient who said that they've sent email or text and nobody replied to them. They're also quite grateful for the fact that Dr. Uliana is quite open-minded doctor. And if, let's say, I recommend some protocols because it was successful here, she wouldn't say, no, I'll do this one. She would accept that and dwell on it and make that protocol work for both of us. And the feedbacks, well, apart from feedbacks, it's also the pregnancy rates that are important, because you can be fantastic in communications, you can have a great advertisement, but if there's no pregnancies, that's nothing. And so far, this egg donation program that we have with your company seems to be, the pregnancy rates are above expectations. We've normally quote very, just sort of very realistic figures for the patients. We tell them that on average we would get about 50% pregnancy rates. But I would honestly say that the pregnancy rates with Ovogene Bank is way better than that. We would probably looking at over 70% pregnancy rates for our patients.
This is great work for us. You told that patients are not looking only for donation programs. Can you tell a little bit more in what programs patients are mostly interested in?
Well, it's not just a egg donation. It's also, some patients do travel abroad for the simple IVF cycles, because the cost of the IVF in Ireland is quite expensive. And if you've been through the cycle here twice or three times and you still need another cycle, that's very, very daunting, because the cost can sky up to about over 30,000. So some patients do travel abroad for that. They also travel for some extra treatments. For example, sperm manipulations in Ireland is quite limited. There's not many patients perform even max treatment or IMSI or some other extra special selection of the sperm. And when they travel abroad, that option is available for the patients as well. But I would say the most common destinations that you would have from our patient is actually surrogacy. Because currently in Ireland, even though the situation is not very well regulated, there is an ongoing campaign to try to regulate it as much as possibly can be and as fast as possibly can be. But surrogacy at the moment, it used to be with Ukraine. I'm assuming, Dr. Uliana can correct me, but I'm assuming with Georgia, that's what you're doing at the moment. Since the war in Ukraine, but the legislation allows you to have, obviously accept a father as a father, the partner as a father, but the mother would have to be going through lots of legal battles to adopt her own child. But that's the reality of Irish law for the moment. But the fact that surrogacy is available and it's not as expensive as a surrogacy in States or Canada, our patients and also traveling is not that expensive as well. Our patients do choose to go to Ukraine if they have an issue with either immune problems, severe immune problems, or anatomical defect and doesn't allow them to carry the pregnancy, or some other issues that will not permit women to carry the pregnancy. They will have no choice but to look at the surrogacy, even though the cost is expensive. But at that stage, patients are desperate and they will go for any cost just to have a baby.
Yeah, I would comment on that. This is the unique cooperation for us, and we are really thankful for all the efforts which Dr. Liuda is taking in Ireland, because patients, they are feeling they are working with the team. And that's for sure that we cannot provide 100% treatment and the advices, because we do not see the patients from the very beginning.
So
and the other thing I would like to say, the best thing to do is actually the fact that I can simply text Uliana and ask that question, and I will get reply within 15-20 minutes, or annoy Khrystyna with a question. That's usually very helpful, because it allows us to have this, as Uliana said, teamwork. So if the patient sits in front of me and I have a question that I'm not sure what the answer is, I can simply text Uliana and get an answer very quickly. So patient does feel that it's not just he's not falling in between the stools. Patient would have a proper service on one side at home, and also when he travels abroad, he'll meet another team that will be in the proper communications with his homeland team. So that's very important.
Yeah. And unfortunately, patients need to face the need of the cross-border treatment. And this is the teamwork which helps that cross-border treatment to be as convenient as possible and as effective as possible.
Absolutely.
Yes, I will comment from my side, coordinator side. I'm really happy with patients that from Dr. Liuda. I know that they will be they will have amazing care in Ireland, and when they will come for treatment to us, we know that they will have ultrasound, all results, and they know that they should do this and this, and they should take this medication at this time. Thank you for this.
No worries.
So we started about regulation. What options for patients are in Ireland, and what regulations you have about surrogacy programs? You talked already about donation programs.
Currently in Ireland, all the donations have to be identifiable. So the patient, if let's say eggs are to be brought in Ireland, they have to be identifiable, and therefore the donor who donated eggs would have to go on the register that is in the government, and when a child reach age 17, 18, the legal age, will be able to find out who donated the eggs. Now, most of the patients are quite happy with that, but there will be a group of the patients who would prefer to have it anonymous donation rather than identifiable, just because it is very personal, it is very, very close to the heart, and not always they want to share it with the whole world who donated the eggs for them, and that's their donation. Majority of the couple eventually at some stage of their life will tell the child anyway, but it has to be on the terms of the couple rather than on the terms of the government, I think. And having an option to have identifiable donation with Ovogene Bank or anonymous, it's amazing, because not many countries offer identifiable donation. It's very often, majority of the places that patients would travel, like Spain or Czech Republic, they won't offer the identifiable. And having this option, as well as a beautifully presented egg bank with fantastic profiles, it actually helps a lot. When I talk to my patient and tell them how the egg bank look, I always tell them it's like buying a car. You look at the catalog, and there's hundreds of the gorgeous females, not in a baby age, but in a decent enough age that you can recognize them on the pictures with a very, very well written profiles. So from my perspective, it's easy enough to recommend to the patients to go for this treatment, because it's very transparent. You have all the information on the website the patients need, and you are purchasing the eggs that are mature eggs already. You are not just buying a cat in a bag when you don't know how many eggs are going to be collected, how many of them are going to be mature, and you have these expectations for the high numbers. But then indeed, when it comes to the end result, you only end up having 3 or 4 mature eggs. You are paying for the actual mature eggs, and that's, from my perspective, is very good value for money.
Thank you. Yes, in this case, it's a really good option for patients to go for this program, even abroad.
Yeah.
And also, I want to ask you if you have any difficulties with working with agency, as this is programs. You take care of patients in Ireland, then they go to us. Maybe some difficulties in communication with patients to explain them, maybe something like that.
The only difficulties, well, it's not even difficulties, it's just trying to get to the patient's attention, is that you have a very different list of requirements that we would have. You don't need the A4 page of investigations for the patients to start the cycle. And especially if somebody comes up to you at age 35 and said, I've got this list, and they asked me to have a mammogram. And in Ireland, the age of mammogram is 50. So there's no way I can swing that and get the mammogram done for somebody who's 35. So they usually, and when they see this list with a lot of investigations on it, they have a panic attack initially. But then when you start going through this, you explain to them that this has already been done, this has already been done, this we can just here, you already had that. That's much easier. And thank you for the flexibility on your side, because I know that mammogram is in some countries, it is something that they won't even bulge on it if you tell them that patient is not in age for that. And maybe we can do just ultrasound or even breast examination. But I believe that you are much more flexible this way. And if we offer you a breast examination or ultrasound instead of mammogram, you are quite happy to take that.
Yes, we are usually asking, patients to send us everything what they have. We will choose what we need and say, maybe you can do this little much more, and we will take everything else.
Absolutely, yeah, that's certainly much better option than just when send them a list, they panic.
Yes. So I'm absolutely happy with all these questions, all answers. Thank you for that. If you have anything to add about our conversation, our work, I will be happy to hear.
The only thing I would say that I'm very happy with so far with communication, especially on your side, Khrystyna. Fair play to you for
Thank you.
Being always. I've had a patient say to me, I've texted Khrystyna at 10 o'clock and she replied to me straight away. I'm like, oh wow, that's impressive. So thank you for that, because that is actually makes a huge difference to the patient's sanity and a common sense. And I think I'm not sure how many eggs. Well, are you still updating the donor bank? Is there still more patients donated and adding to the egg bank? Or there's a question for Uliana probably.
Yeah, I can comment on that. So we do provide treatments for the oocyte donors right now in Ukraine, in the western part of Ukraine, which is Lviv, as you know, where it is everything relatively safe. And donors are willing to donate. Actually, they understand. And what I can say, probably it's always during the war happening like this, that people are prioritizing the real needs, the family needs, and what is important in the life. And they do understand that if they are donating, so they are helping somebody. And from the other side, we are also helping them, because this is some kind of compensation what they are receiving. This is the kind of treatment what they are undergoing. So yes, we still supply more oocytes into our bank, even right now, but not only from Ukraine. We do involve donors from Georgia and from Albania and even from European Union. In Slovakia, we started our recruitment for Ukrainian refugees, but not only. Like in this country, the oocyte donation is absolutely legal and well regulated, so donors are donating locally.
Fantastic. Well, that's actually very good news, because my main concern was that because of the war in Ukraine, there's no recruitment and eventually you'll run out of eggs. And then certainly something we would like to have.
Okay, so I'm very happy with this conversation, and I just want to finish our talk, just to tell to all of for us have more successful programs, because successful programs successful then happy patients and happy us.
Happy families, yeah.
Yes, and thank you, Dr. Liuda, for your all work, for our all organization of patients. We are really happy that we such work, such teamwork with you.
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me to this talk.
Yeah.
Have a lovely afternoon, ladies. Or night.
Yes. Thank you so much. And this is an incredible cooperation. And I do feel how much value this brings for every of our mutual patient. And I would like to continue and develop this. And from our side, we feel absolutely responsibility for providing the best care we can. And we feel this is mutually from both sides. So this is just for the benefit of our patients. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you to you. Bye. Bye.